Rolling.
Now for the pink area behind the mountains, or scarlet area, we take some of the scarlet red, a small amount again, and with a greater amount of the white, titanium white. And I would say almost double it. Then we take our clean brush and mix. And as you can see, we almost need a little bit more white as we look at this. And of course, if you decide as the painter that you want it this color, fine, go ahead. For me, I'd prefer just a dab more white. Now load the brush and clean it, because you're going to have to use the paint again. Now, because we've got an area that's all the way back among the trees, let's do this. And as I'm doing it, I realize that I'm not even white enough. I think it should be even lighter. But the area behind the mountain, I think, can be this color, but I'm going to lighten the area as we go towards the blue sky. So I'm going to add just a little more. Oh, thank you for the clean water. Add a little more white to really lighten up that color. And don't be afraid to go over what you've already painted. Using the side of the brush, no, I mean the edge of the brush. You come all the way across. Catch that blue edge, all right? And remember, the sky comes down in little areas. There are clouds, so they're a little puff, all right? Now, I think we made it up a little high, but not really. This should be down a little bit, down more like this, but since we've already got the sky in like that, we're gonna leave it. Okay, the next thing to do is clean the brush again, because we're going to do the blue lake. Now the blue lake, remember, clean the brush, get most of all of that off. All right, we were going to do the lake. Now, the lake, we're going to need the blue again. And we're taking the blue and we're going to put a little more in than we did the last time. I put in 3 drops that time. And it's got a purpley tone to it. So we're going to put just a dab of red. Might not be enough. But let's see what we come up with as a mixture. We might have to put a little white, titanium white in as well. This is what I would call a little too dark. So I'm going to take the titanium white, just a touch. You don't need much. Here we go. Now remember, there's streaks through it, and as you go back, you see that it is a little lighter. But we're going to get to that in the next step after we put down the basic blue. So, again, follow the line here. And here. This is the line here, I believe. This isn't drawn exactly to Hoyle. This comes down here, all the way down to the corner. And this is all blue in here. This line is...
That's showing where, like, this accent wave line
right,
is.
this comes down to here.
Yeah.
All right, so this is all blue in here. Okay. I hope we put in enough
You can always need more.
paint. But we're going to be covering up some of the lines here. But we remember where they are. I'm going to just draw this in here because that was the area. All right. And evening this out a little bit. And then we're going to come in and do just a darker, a little darker towards the bottom here.
Dad, you're getting the lighter and darker spots because you don't have it mixed completely evenly in the dish, right? So you have areas that are lighter and areas that are darker.
No, as a painter, that's what I do.
Yeah.
All right. I go back afterwards and lighten up or darken as I need. My technique may be a little different than the instructions that they're being given, but you gotta have fun with doing what you're doing here.
The instructions aren't that specific, so you're helping fill them out.
Yeah, okay. Back and forth to let's do this. Okay, we've got an overall color in here. Okay. Clean off your brush. Now, what I'm going to do next is fill in some highlights. On the water, you're going to see streaks of light color on the top of the water where the sun comes down. And let's take just some plain titanium white. And very light, add a little bit of water. All right, and then pick up some light colors running across. Now, I see more towards the bottom to give a little interest here. And notice that the white is going into a wet blue, and that helps. You might go back and do a little more white in a little bit, but one of the things I'm going to do is pick up a little bit of the sky blue that we had before, a little bit more of that blue, and I'm going to just take it across and pick it up in some other areas in here. That's not quite what I wanted to do, but it's going to look fine. I'm going to take my tissue again, and I'm just going to blot out what I did, and then go back in with the blue. And don't be afraid to use a little darker blue. Light. And then when this dries just a touch, then I'll come back with the white again. All right, that'll pick up this back area that's a little lighter in here. If you make mistakes, you correct them. That's all. Now, as far as the foreground is concerned, right in here, this is much darker than this area here. So we're going to take the original sap green and we're going to dab it more because it's grass. And this doesn't look quite dark enough, so I'm going to go back in and put in some fresh sap green. Now, while it's wet, take a dry brush and do a little. Lots of little lines to make it look like grass. And then what we're going to do is just continue over here. We're going to lighten this up again, a little lighter white, titanium white, into the sap green, and pick up this area in here, which almost looks darker still, so we're gonna have to lighten that up a little bit. Go back over it. Oops, it's a little still too dark. And some more. Here we go. Now, going back, just take a little bit of that blue, dark blue on the edge, just a little bit off. Now, going back with the green, right over the that blue. Now again with a thin brush, give it a little strokes of being grass. Now, when you have grass, there's shadow. So I'm going back to a little bit darker, and every once in a while, there will be a little darker line. Okay, and then after we go through that, we're going to wind up with the poppies.